At the very end of the day, the body just translates all that sort of stuff into free radicals, translates into inflammation, translates into toxicity. Literally, you could be exercising too much and you could pass the threshold of it actually being a physiological benefit and causing your body to completely break down. You could be eating foods that are healthy or unhealthy and eating the wrong amounts of them or at the wrong times or whatever it is and causing your body stress. Stress, that is the general term for breakdown.
In our community, we talk a lot about politics and we talk a lot about stressful topics and we spend a lot of time on them unpacking what's happening around the world, and that is stressful, right? That causes me personally to feel sometimes overwhelmed, anxious, angry, frustrated, and I know that I've got to keep myself on the track and purge some of that stress because I feel like that will translate itself into my body. And part of the reason I think that is because I lived a very toxic life when I was drinking all the time, and I could feel that toxicity, and I was kind of existing in this state of almost anger but resentment, you know, and it was just a toxic feeling, and I wasn't as healthy, I didn't look as healthy, I was not in a healthy state. And so when I find myself feeling those stresses from the politics or from the outside world, I want to make sure that those don't translate into, you know, inner toxicity so that I don't become sick physically from my mental pressures that are out there. And I know that a lot of people in our community also feel this way because, especially now, we're not in the same space, but we've had a kind of a difficult last couple of years with where the country's going, and we're trying to focus on political wellness in many ways to make sure that we're not getting deviated and dejected and spiritually defeated, physically defeated, mentally defeated. And so that's why we're excited you were going to talk to us, because I know that stress is a big component of that. And you had detailed that a lot of these symptoms will come back to basic root causes. And is stress one of those, or is that a contributor? Can you talk about that?
Well, remember, Rob, at the very end of the day, the body does not discriminate between the type of stress that you are placing on it. I mean, think about it. The body doesn't know that you are watching these political things happening and you are having these emotions, or that you're watching a sports game and your team is losing and it's causing you negative emotions, or that you are going out and you are drinking and you're putting, at the very end of the day, the body just translates all that sort of stuff into free radicals, translates into inflammation, translates into toxicity. It doesn't know all the stuff that you're inputting. It doesn't care. I mean, literally, you could be exercising too much and you could pass the threshold of it actually being a physiological benefit and causing your body to completely break down. You could be eating foods that are healthy or unhealthy and eating the wrong amounts of them or at the wrong times or whatever it is, and causing your body stress. In the inside, it's all the same. It's producing the same toxins, the same free radicals, the same things that break every system down. And so, yeah, you have to be careful, because at the very end of the day, stress, that is the general term for breakdown. And breakdown, when it becomes systemic or acute or in one area or all areas, causes dysfunction. Dysfunction then causes lack of production. Lack of production then causes you to not be able to function and affects your quality of life.
Right. And this is cumulative, right? And it will, add up over time. And so what I have been working on in my experience in my journey is getting better at it in small bits, slowly creating what I call my automatic sprinkler systems, so that, every morning something pops up and waters the grass. And for me, it's things like exercise. I like to walk. I have a men's group that I meet with that's, helps me kind of clear out my head and stuff like that. But from your perspective, you're somebody who's obviously, you've worked with some of the most high intense athletes under monster pressures and stuff like that. I mean, a different kind of stress, but stress nonetheless.
It's stress.
Right? It's stress, and it's causing our bodies to react with, fight or flight or whatever's happening in there. But, in all of your experience, performance and working with some of these people found to be some of the best ways to deal with that, to increase our health.
Okay, so beautiful. There's two concepts about stress, right? So at the very end of the day, what you want to be able to do really well is recover. So think about that word, guys. It's all about recovery. Whether I'm working with Phil Mickelson, whether I'm working with Brady, whether I'm working with Drew Brees, whether I'm working with any of the Wyndham Clark, any of these athletes, you know all they care about? All they care about, nobody talks about, can I get more energy? And it's interesting, right? Because you always hear about people saying, oh, I want more energy. I want more energy. What can I do for more energy? I'm going to go grab an energy drink. Why? They don't think like that. They actually say, I got all the energy that I need.
Interesting.
I got all the strength that I need. I got all the range of motion that I need. I can do that. That's easy. The hardest thing for me to do is recover. If I can't recover, that means I can't go do whatever I need to go do to be able to perform. Because at the very end of the day, all of those things, whether it's on the golf course, whether it's in the gym, whether it's with their sports psychologist, whatever, they need to be able to be fully recovered to be able to go do those things. Okay, right? So, and that's like us too, guys, right? I mean, at the very end of the day, we go and we learn all these sort of things. We experience all these things. We take care of the family. We take care of work. We do all this sort of stuff. And we'd like to then wake up the next day fresh, anew, and ready to go again. So it's all about how quickly you can recover and how deeply you can recover.